Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Monster Mayhem. As today's review will be on Peter Jackson's 2005 remake of King Kong, starring Jack Black, Naomi Watts, and Adrien Brody, written by Fran Welsh, Philippa Boyens, and Peter Jackson. Uh, I actually like Peter Jackson's rendition take on King Kong. I thought it was a pretty good remake. As someone that's never seen the original black and white King Kong, something that I'm really, really regretting because I am a huge fan of the old black and white monster movies. King Kong is the one that I've yet to purchase, and it's really bothering me that I've yet to get that movie. Eventually, I'm going to get it, but that's neither here nor there. Uh, but looking at this movie as its own on its own 2 feet, without having any prior history with the original movie, it's good. I like it. Peter Jackson, not one of my he's not one of my favorite filmmakers. I only like two movies, this and The Frighteners. So Peter Jackson has never been one of those directors that I actually will go out and that I like, particularly like. But I do respect the man as a filmmaker, and I do appreciate his work. And I have seen all the Lord of the Rings movies, and I don't care for either one of them. But I do admire his directing and his use of special effects and practical effects. And he's one of those old school directors that does that, and I appreciate something like that. But anyway, we're talking about King Kong. Takes place in the 1930s, and I like the way Peter Jackson kind of like paints this picture of 1930s New York. It takes place during the Depression, during the era of Prohibition, and you see how that culture and climate was like back in the 30s. It was just a very depressing time and things like that. And to counteract that, you get stuff like vaudeville, which was in a way used as a way for people to get out of that depressing life that they were living at that time and find some bright spots. And that's something that I admired because the Noami Watts character is a vaudevillian, and that actually plays later on in the movie when she meets Kong. Of course, you have Adrien Brody, who is a stage writer, who is also working with Carl Denham, who is kind of like played by Jack Black, who is like this greedy, sleazy businessman, movie maker type guy with big ambitions, who actually has the idea to go to Skull Island. And that's pretty much that. But, um, but I'm not gonna like go blow by blow for the movie. I'm just gonna talk about some pros and cons. Pros: solid cast. I like the cast. The cast is good. Peter Jackson's directing. I did that already. I say this: solid directing, fantastic job. Like I said, paints a good picture. His use of visual and practical effects was awesome. Script writing is on. It's good. Captures the dialogue of that time. The music by James Newton Howard is really, really good. I like the soundtrack to this movie. Awesome soundtrack to me personally. Uh, we get some of the cons. The biggest cons is that this movie is way, way too long. Um, I normally watch the director's cut, and that runs at about 3 hours and 20 minutes, and that's just way too much. And what's really, really annoying is that it's a lot of filler. It really is a lot of filler in this, and it's not like you're getting really good character development at all. It's just like, okay, just wasting time, just killing time, wasting time, and killing time. Or be on this boat, which just seems like forever. It really does feel like they're on the damn boat for like 2.5 hours. It's like they didn't want to leave that boat for some reason. And again, not a whole lot goes on. The movie basically starts once they get to the island. That's when the movie starts, because that's where the movie actually gets good. Once they get to Skull Island, and you see the natives, and you see like the set that they built for Skull Island looks fantastic. The use of practical effects in this movie were done awesome, and the CGI they used with the practical effects with green screens and stuff like that. I don't know. I like it. I like it. I liked it a lot. I know everyone, including myself, has to crap on CG effects, but when they're done right and when they're mixed in with the practical effects, it makes the CG effects look awesome. And to me, by 2005 standards, it worked. And King Kong to me is a perfect example of it working. But so yeah, so we finally get to Skull Island, and it's fantastic. And when we see Kong for the first time through Anne's eyes, he looks amazing. Of course, King Kong was motion captured by the fucking awesome Andy Serkis, and his portrayal of King Kong is amazing. One of the probably the best performance in this movie is Andy Serkis as King Kong. His motion capture, giving Kong, you know, personality, and mixing up and giving Kong personality, making him feel like a badass, but also giving him some light moments, and almost in a way humanizing King Kong in a way, but still maintaining that animalistic side of King Kong, which only an actor like Andy Serkis can portray. It is criminal that this man has not won an Oscar for his work, because motion capture acting is no different than any other type of acting. You're using expression, you're using your body, you're using expressions. That's why I love his work in the Planet of the Apes, in the new Planet of the Apes movies. He's amazing, amazing, truly, truly underrated. But we get more pros, and we got the awesome epic fight that King Kong has with the two T Rexes, and it's just like a classic callback to those old monster fights, like the Wolfman vs Frankenstein, and the monsters balls that we used to have with Dracula, and I know the Creature from the Black Lagoon and stuff like that. It's fun seeing the monsters, all those monsters, just creatures, just beat the shit out of each other. And King Kong and the T Rexes have an awesome, awesome scene. But that's not to like discredit the human stuff, because the humans also have their own pretty cool scenes. So there's this one scene where they fall into this pit, and they got to fight off a horde of insects, and that was a pretty suspenseful scene too. And it was also good. And then of course, eventually the humans capture King Kong by chloroforming it. They put him on the stage, and that's when the infamous, King Kong Rex New York happens, and he, climbs the Empire State Building, and he's like beating up these helicopters that keep shooting at him, and that's also another cool scene. But to me, and I want to say this right now, the relationship that King Kong and Andorra, played by Naomi Watts, have is a very, very like sweet and tragic, I guess you would say, kind of sort of love story they have, because you know in the beginning she's afraid of King Kong, and like who wouldn't? He's a big gorilla. But as the movie progresses, she, I guess you could say, gains an appreciation and maybe a sort of love for the creature, because it becomes the point where Anne is the only one that can pretty much calm down King Kong once he goes on his rampage. And you see that with New York, and they have this beautiful scene in Central Park, which I really like a lot. And James Newton's Howard score for that scene is just awesome, and it really highlights the, like, I guess you could say, to Anne maybe a friendship, but to Kong it's a romance. So it's that really cool dichotomy going on there. But of course, we get to the end, and we see Kong's death, and you can see the heartbreak and sorrow in Anne's eyes, seeing pretty much her friend and savior just die before her eyes, and he just falls off the Empire State Building. And the music and the James Newton Howard's music during that scene, can almost give you a tear, because it's just so emotional, so heavy. Seeing this king, the king of the animals, just fall to his death by man. And it pretty much, pretty much is like one of those questions: who is more savage, man or animal? And of course, Jack Black to me has the best line in the movie, which is, I think, also a callback to the original movie, where, like, one reporter says he's just a dumb ape. The airplane's got him. And Jack Black's final line was, no, it was beauty that killed the beast, because that's what killed Kong. Kong's love for Anne is what ultimately got him killed. And perfect way to sum this movie up. So, with all that being said, I'm gonna give this movie. I'm gonna give this movie a 6.5. I'm giving it a 6.5. Acting and directing is solid, but the length of this movie is unnecessarily long, and there's way too much filler going on, and just not a whole lot happening in within that filler to constitute anything higher than 6.5. It is a very enjoyable movie. I like it. If you like, if you can watch, if you can watch movies of great length, give it a try and like it. If you give it a try and watch it, I'm sorry. If you're a King Kong fan, I say give it a watch because as a King Kong movie, it is highly enjoyable and it's very entertaining. Well, those are my thoughts on King Kong. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.